Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journey Success Stories podcast. I'm Jennifer Sheffel, your host this morning, and I am so grateful to be with Vincent Brown this morning. He is the president and founder of Randolph Brown Consulting. Welcome, Vince.
Good morning, Jennifer. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous because I get to start my day with you.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm ready to go. Let's
Awesome.
go.
So today we are going to be talking about his business, how he got to where he is. His journey is so exciting. It's going to be a really cool conversation today. So if this is your first time to the show, make sure that you like and subscribe so that then you can get notifications when new episodes drop, just like this one, because you'll want to come back and really rewatch some of these because there's great tidbits in each and every one. So, Vince, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here today and starting your morning with me and us. I would love for you to tell us a bit about yourself, how you got to where you are, and what's kind of that business journey that you kind of overgone.
Well, great. Well, first of all, Jennifer, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I couldn't be more excited. And I want to say personally, and as an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, I might add, um, having your forum and platform is a gift. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Um, so as I was reflecting on the opportunity to share a little bit, I was thinking, try to be succinct, Vince, because that's not always your gift. Try to get to the point, Vince, because sometimes you can continue to go over. And and so I wanted to just nail down in the essence of the core, what is it that I do? And then I'll tell you how I got there and how I continue to go there. Um, First of all, and the essence of what I have had the pleasure of doing for some 38 years is optimizing the performance of organizations. And sometimes that looks like individual performance, team performance, organizational performance, or strategic performance. It's really about this fundamental belief that I have and that many people I have had the pleasure to partner with, that people truly are the most valuable asset of any organization. And if we believe that to be true, and I would say it's not just a belief, but there's data that supports that, then the question is, what kind of environments do we create so those people assets can thrive? And that is the essence of what I've had the pleasure of doing. It's really unleashing the human potential of every person who works in an organization or a system. I don't feel like I've gone to work in 38 years, Jennifer, so I got to start and confess
Yeah.
because I think I'm living within my vocation and within my dream. Um, but early on, what I believe was the foundations for what I do was actually being a Navy brat. When people say, where are you from, Vince? I say, I don't know, 2 years and out. Because for all of the formative years of my life, quite frankly, every 2 to 3 years, we were moving.
Right.
And every 2 to 3 years, as a young child moving, you find that there are days that you feel like you're in. You find there are days that you're out. You find that there's days that you're trying to get in. And a lot of different things are happening. So going from the West Coast to the East Coast, you're in different environments, you're in different cultures. Um, Being in those different environments, I could find myself in so many different kinds of relationships with people, from being at a Samoan pig roast to being at a synagogue, to being in a mosque, to you know, working with a friend of mine named Mark Wabanabe, who was Japanese American, and talking to his parents about their lives in the internment camps. I mean, I found myself in this journey of people, but I also found that there were times when I felt like I was in, and man, it felt great. But then there were times that I felt that I wasn't in, and it didn't feel great for
Right.
whatever the reason. So I think now I wasn't that sophisticated to deduce any of that at the time. Okay. But I think that laid the foundation for me for that. So I've always been a person who likes to connect with different people. Fast forward, my father's getting ready to retire. He's moving back to where his family spent many of the roots in the Cincinnati area. I'm coming back to Cincinnati. Um, I was a fairly decent athlete. My sons say I get better over time because I tell the story and I continue to get better, as they say. But in the event, uh, and I have one, I'm a five-star athlete, although they don't have those stars at those times. I'm a 4 to 5 star athlete, got all kinds of offers, and one football play changed the dynamics. I went from multiple offers to zero. I went from having potential scholarships and pursuing my dreams to having to now work my way through college as a night janitor. Um, I went from I thought would have been a 4 year journey for my education, probably turned into 10. I mean, tons of things happened. Um, but quite frankly, as I reflect, they were all good things. It forced me to really think about what I love to do. So as I pursued education at the University of Cincinnati, human resources and business became my focus. After then, well, the best thing that happened after then is I got married and have been with my wife now for 44 years. That was the greatest choice for me. But in addition to that, and oh, by the way, she's been with me on the entire entrepreneurial journey. And
Oh,
if there's anything, if people say, "What do you need?" A supportive partner. She allowed me to pursue my dream when it was incredibly lean. Um, and I always felt that she valued what I was trying to do. Not one time did she ever say, "You should give that up." Not one time. And that was just amazing. So I'm now in human resources. Back in the day, I'm working with a financial services company. I'm in human resources. Well, in those days, it was really called personnel. It, it really wasn't about the resources of the people. It was about what you should and should not do. I didn't like that part of it, but I did like the part of training managers and training people and helping them create good work environments.
yeah.
From there, partnered with and what wasn't fulfilled. I think that's probably very important. Wasn't fulfilled fully. And then with my business partner, who happened to also be my cousin, we had this crazy dream. Why don't we go and just change the world? We've learned a lot. We're doing a lot. Let's just do this. And it was his dream. And I latched on to it. And I was fortunate that he had this stretching dream. And this will be the last thing that I'll say in terms of the formative stages. We sat on a porch step and dreamed that one day we would be working all around the world, working with different companies, different languages, with different people, working in environments. And I can see that conversation as clearly as I can see you today, Jennifer. And that led us to creating the largest, at the time, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging company in the world. We started as this little storefront, met up with an amazing partner, Dr. Janet Butler Reed, who just infused all kind of new thoughts and ideas and energy. And we started this firm. It became regional. We then partnered, brought in some other partners. Then we went global. We got invested in by Goldman Sachs, and we ended up selling our company to Korn Ferry International as a publicly traded company. Unbelievable journey, but most importantly, with some unbelievable people. Oh my
Yes.
God, I we've worked with some great people on our team and some amazing clients who many have become friends of the firm, as we like to say, not just clients anymore.
Yes.
So that's the long and the short. And I know I went over. I told
You're
you
good.
in advance I would do it.
I love your story, but one of the pieces that really took my breath away when we first had talked that you didn't touch on, and I would love for you to maybe add some color to this. How did you meet Janet?
Ah,
Because talk about inclusivity and the format of which you guys met blew my mind. So please share with our audience that story.
Absolutely. Um, I think the story for me as I reflect is that opportunity can show itself up in all the strange places
Fact.
that you can imagine. So imagine this. It's back many, many years, and back in Cincinnati, Ohio, um, there was an annual event on the square
Yes.
where the downtown Christmas tree and holiday celebration would be in place. At that time, members of the Ku Klux Klan ex did their rights as American. They protested, right? And so they're there. Also, as our rights, we protested the fact that they were there. Everything was done in a way that was appropriate.
Well, it was very harmony. And it was, I don't agree with what you're doing. You don't agree with me, but it's a
Right.
compromise. We understand that we don't agree with one another, but we're human. We're here. It was a
It is
very peaceful, yeah,
absolutely, and in my humble opinion, it's the foundation of what this country, one of the core foundations of what this country this is and should stand for.
yes,
So the event happens, and afterwards, we're hungry, and we so happen to see Janet Reed. We knew her just in passing, but we really didn't know her. And so we said, hey, let's go get a bite to eat and talk about what just happened and talk about what you're doing and et cetera, et cetera. And man, so we're sitting at a restaurant in the Over the Rhine called the Old Southern Restaurant, and we're sitting there, and I had no idea that that would be the moment that we would form our company, relationship, and our dreams together. So we're sitting there. At that time, she was heavily steeped in the work of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging inside of Procter and Gamble. Hats off to P&G because they've always been a leader
yes.
around this work then and now. Um, and but she was ready to do her new act, and that was going to be work with people and organizations. We were looking for how do we focus and refocus ours so that we could be fulfilled. And lo and behold, we formed Global Lead. And that was the company that we actually formed. But a little, one other anecdote about that. So it's an amazing meeting. Never had a clue that it would happen. So I always say, at least for me, who would have thought that maybe one of the most important meetings in my life would have happened at a Ku Klux Klan rally? It
Nobody.
literally, literally did. Um,
Insane.
so when we first started to form our partnership, we went in and we were doing work with Procter and Gamble. I'll never forget, there was a gentleman by the name of Gibby Carey, and Gibby was just an amazing marketing person. And at that time, we were two firms. We were Lynch Brown Associates and JB Reeves and Associates. And he looked at Janet and he said, Janet, who are you today? He says, I taught you better in marketing. You need to have one company, one brand. Who are you all today? And, and it was so funny, but so true. And that's really why we got the name Global Lead. We went through this process. We said, what do we want to do? We want to work around the world. What do we want to do? We want to lead around the world. So there's all this research, kind of the Procter and Gamble way. And that led us to Global Lead, and then it launched us.
Awesome. So today, fast forward to today, who's your target market? Like, who do you really want to work with? Like, tell us a little bit more about. I know that we are going to use the acronym VRB Consulting
Yes.
or the Randolph Brown Consulting. So tell me, who are the people that you're looking for and seeking out to really be there as that partner?
Yes. So, and the word you use is so important for us. It's really a partnership. The way we consult and work is a partnership, because we recognize when you're talking about organizational performance, often you're talking about the people and the culture of an environment. And so we are looking for organizations and people, typically mid-sized to large size, that know that the way their individual people perform has a direct impact on who they serve.
Mm,
So For example, healthcare is a great example of that for us.
Yeah.
Um, Retail is a great example of that for us. Sports and entertainment is a direct example of that. And, just suffice it to say, hard to give people wonderful customer service if you as a person aren't feeling like you are your full self. So it's really hard. So it's really looking at organizations who have determined that. But we have done work in a variety of areas. I think our customers or clients generally are those individuals who truly believe their people are valued. They truly believe that they want to make sure that they are getting the maximum performance out of everyone. And I will use that word everyone because I think one of the misnomers of the word inclusion and in this day and age is that it's about involving and including only certain groups. No, inclusion is about bringing in all groups. And diversity is not about one group of people. Diversity is about all groups of people. And again, if you're a business leader or department leader and you're saying, hey, I've got these great assets, am I getting the most out of them? Am I getting the highest performance? Am I getting the best innovation? Am I getting us to work together more effectively? Is there opportunity? Then those generally become the people who are our clients, and we work in a partnership with them. But we also, it's a gift. Anytime someone um, trust you enough to work in their organization with their people, look at some very sensitive information and documents to really talk about what is it we need to do. My goodness, what a gift.
Yeah. So here's a different kind of question for you because you have had different businesses over the
Yes.
years. And so being that serial entrepreneur, it's easier if I can talk, um, has probably gifted you a whole lot of different things that you never could have even dreamt was even possible. So, what would you say has been the biggest accomplishment or biggest gift slash blessing that you have gotten over the years by being an entrepreneur?
Wow. Now you really know how to answer a difficult, I mean, ask a difficult question, Jennifer, because that is it's a profound question. Um, and my mind, the way my mind works, even if you see this profile, a little picture up at the top left-hand corner, you see the yellow and the red. Basically, that's a model for how I prefer to think based on data and information with a great organization called the Herman Brain Dominance Instrument. Why am I saying that? I am a very big picture. Yellow is big picture, blue is analytical, red is people, green is process. You just took me to my yellow zone, which is like, wow. In fact,
You accomplish and conquer.
oh my God. I mean, so I'm up in the zone here thinking, I cannot think of one or two. I can think of 100. But let me just kind of give you a couple
I know because we only have so much time. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to name.
okay, so let me bring. So number one, I think, it really goes back to the people that I've met along the way. I mean, I've met and worked with some amazing people. I think about some work we did over in Greece, and I'm working in Greece with a retail food company, and I'm sitting there at a retreat with Janet and I. We are at the Temple of Delphi doing a retreat, and we are working with 40 up and coming leaders from all around the globe. And I can tell you, to this moment, I can still see the mountains and the snow and the beach below. And Jan and I are like, are we really, really here doing this work? And we did it for 8 consecutive years with
Wow.
this company. And it was called the Oracle of Delays. And it was just incredible. Um, I mean, that's just one of many. So I'm going to stop there. But it's all of it has always come back to working with people in extraordinary situations and circumstances that I would have never imagined I would have found myself. As a result of the previous work I did, we did travel the globe. We did work with all different types of organizations, and I would often find myself in places and spaces that I had no idea that I would be doing it. And boy, was I blessed and fortunate to find myself there.
Very much so. All right, so now I'm gonna blast you into the future because I lived in different spots.
Okay. All
All right,
right.
so 5 years from now, you've arrived. Okay, so put yourself in yourself, but 5 years from now, what does the world look like? Like, what are some of the cool things that you're doing now, and what have like some of the things you've accomplished?
Yeah. So, that's a great question again. Probably moves me to my red people feeling side, right? Because I'm at the stage of my career where I'm in what I hope to be is legacy building, where I'm hoping that we are building out tools that can stand the test of time and be relevant to individuals through test of time. So we're doing a lot of work right now with technology enabled solutions. Um, for example, many years ago, which I love, you go into a training and we could actually do education for a day, for 2 days, for 3 days. I mean, there was things like 3-day training sessions. Who does that now? Who's ever going to do that again, right? I mean, it's just kind of like, and now the need is there, but making sure that people can learn in this new environment and micro learning and micro burst and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So we're working with a couple of clients and companies on that, and so we're really excited about that. Recognizing the impact that AI has. Um, I had my recently I had one of my first early, I would call AI driven client requests, where the client actually came in after doing an AI strategy on this work. So years ago, they would walk in almost as I would say, a blank slate, right? Here
Mhm.
now they're saying, "Hey, I went online, blah blah. What are your thoughts around this and that and the
Yeah.
other?" Which is
Yeah.
great, which is phenomenal. But it was so different. I mean, than previous. So the question is how do we make sure we're relevant
Mm.
for that new generation of work, etc. And then making sure that we continue to focus on solutions that individuals can do within the confines of their organization versus needing to be driven by external support, like a consultant. So in a way, kind of working our way into a new business is what I kind of see as the future. What I'm excited about is that I'm working with some of my team members in the organization who are not at my seasoned age as my some of my wonderful client colleagues tell me, and they're going to be the future of this because it's their future, and I'm hopefully there to kind of help pass a baton that makes sense.
Yes, yes. Again, legacy building.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. Awesome. So, as you guys are relaunching and doing the Randolph Brown Consulting, what has been your number one obstacle this time around versus before? And you've even written a couple of books that you haven't even mentioned or anything. So tell me, like, what's been the biggest challenge for you so far?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. And I think the timing of that question um, makes it real clear to what it is for me. Um, because of change in administrations,
Yeah.
there has been a different perspective on what firms that operate in the space of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, what that really means. Um, and juxtapose that to the reality that there were some organizations who perhaps didn't operate in the right context per se, and I'm not judging. Right is the wrong word to use in a inclusive construct. And so, really, the challenge is making sure that we, as an organization, are able to communicate what it is we do,
Mm.
why we do it, why it adds value, and quite frankly, in my mind, probably now more than ever, is there a need for this kind of work? But the newness of the way communication occurs, Jennifer, is incredible. Case in point, years ago, you would be hard pressed to find an article or a book on diversity. Literally, you'd have to search,
True.
go online. It would be like, oh my God, we spent a day to find a one that was now articles, information, data, reports, generate. I mean, constant, constant, constant. And so making sure that you are giving credible research-based data is important. And I think that's one of the really greatest challenges is how do people understand what the truth is in terms of data and information. And so that is the reason why we wrote a couple of books. Our first book was really around called the Phoenix Principles, leveraging inclusion to transform your organization. And one of my favorite authors is Patrick Lencioni, Five Dysfunctions of a Team. I've been a
Yes.
big fan of his for years.
Yes.
But I love the fact that he wrote in a story and a narrative. And so we actually took that approach. Although the work was based on data and five principles that we uncovered, we wrote it as the story of an individual who is now responsible to lead an effort to create inclusion and business results. So it's this journey and you go through it. And what I'm really proud of is even one of the things we did 20 years ago when we wrote the book, we actually changed the gender. We did gender rotation of the character
Huh.
throughout the book. And what was interesting, Jennifer, was that many people said when they read the book and we were in one gender, they thought of the person one way. When they read the book and were in another, they would, and so that was one of the things we did that I really, really loved and the feedback on that. But it really was about the five principles that we still use today that frame an inclusive culture. The second book was more on the individual basis. And at the time, Dr. Janet Reed was um, on the board of the Ohio State University, and we had all types of great access to researchers, biologists, chemists. I mean, anybody, psychologists, sociology. If you touched any part of the person, we had the greatest information. But we wanted to really tackle this one thing we had observed for many, many years, which was there were some people who were just more naturally inclusive. They
Yes.
just were. And it
Yeah.
was like, wow, if we can identify through data, what are those behaviors?
Hmm.
Then we believe we can teach and replicate it. And so the book was tons of research and um, inclusion and intrinsic inclusion, rebooting your biased brain with your recognition that as a human, if you are human, then you have biases.
Yes.
However, all biases are not bad. So we're talking about a specific set of biases. And most importantly, those specific that we're talking about, which are biased against people, you can choose to behave or not that way. So this power of choice, and it's also built into brain science. So those and so that is literally what we've launched this second act of practice. I did the 25 years with Global Lead, and now I'm into my 13th year with Randolph Brown Consulting, and that is the book that is the framing for much of our work.
Awesome. Oh, that's so great. So I can talk to you all day long, but we're starting to come up to the end of our time together for the podcast. I know. It's so fun. I love doing these and having features because not only do I learn a lot, but I get to share with our community about all these great businesses and people that we also have in our community.
Yes.
But I have some rapid fire questions for
All righty.
you. So,
All
rapid
righty.
fire, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. What is the key to success for you?
Key to success is people.
What is your one piece of advice for other business owners?
Pursue your dream. Don't ever stop.
Okay, I got goosebumps again. You're awesome at this. All right, what is a book or podcast that you're reading or listening to right now?
Leader as a healer. I just got into it. Ooh, I can't wait. But it so aligns with I'm doing. Oops, one word. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was doing
That's
a rapid
awesome.
fire and then I started to go off.
Well, and you have the book there too.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
can hold it up and be like, hey guys, look it up.
Oh,
I was going
please.
to say, put it in front of yourself.
Oh, in front of
Being
me.
able to
Okay.
see it. There you go. I
Leader.
see it now.
There we
Awesome.
go. All right. Yeah,
Those
definitely.
backgrounds are great till they just, you want
Yeah,
to.
till they're not, right?
All right. So here's a fun question. If you had a little bit of magic dust, what part of the business would you sprinkle that on right now?
Oh man. Magic dust. Now that was a tough one. I would sprinkle it on the part of the business that really is about bringing people together. I would sprinkle it on the part of the business that truly believes that we are better together. I would sprinkle it on the parts of the business where people see the beauty of each other in their differences and in their uniquenesses. I would sprinkle it on the magic of all of us, which is all of us.
Mhm. Well, and if I may add, I would love to sprinkle it on people for them to recognize what their true gift is.
Absolutely.
Because there's so
Absolutely.
many of us going through the motions as a zombie.
Yes,
We have no idea what that actual gift is. And we need wonderful, beautiful people sometimes to just pull it out of us.
absolutely.
All right. So
Absolutely.
that wasn't such rapid fire. And all right. So before we come to our final question of the day, my friend, share with our audience how can they follow, get a hold of you, and learn more about VR Brown, well, VRB
Yeah.
Consulting.
Absolutely. So we are in the process of a new website launch. That's the January. So I'm going to say if you could reach me at Vincent Brown or V Brown at vrandolphbrown.com. That will come directly to me. In the meantime, feel free to reach out. I'm on LinkedIn. Our new website will be coming the first of the year and would invite you into that. But vbrown at vrandolphbrown.com. We'll get it right to me and we'll get right back to you.
Awesome. Love that. All right. So, final question of this morning. What is most inspiring to you today?
What's most inspiring to me are many of the young people, and I say young, the newer generation, and how they are so committed to learning and thank goodness in many cases aren't carrying some of the baggage that I've seen in other more senior generations. And so I'm inspired by the world that they will create. And, I think it's a good time for some of us to kind of move to the exit ramp or at least slow lane and say, hey, go on by. You take the lead. Let me follow. I'm really am excited. The younger generations and just their different perspective on life. There's work to be done, but that's what gives me energy and hope. And if I didn't mention this, I'm a grandfather. I got three grandsons, and so I'm seeing the world through their eyes today, and I want to continue to see it through everyone's young eyes. Is what I would love to have happen.
Oh, awesome. It is fascinating. I agree. And I know my kids also thank you for that new vision. All right. Well, this was a great conversation. I, of course, enjoyed our feature today. I hope all of you did too, because Vince is just amazing and he's done a lot of really cool things and really empowering others. So thank you so much for sharing this morning.
Well, no, thank you, Jennifer. And I just want to again emphasize the work you do is so important. Being an entrepreneur is not easy at all. Having the ability to even share sometimes your own stories and reflections, and the fact that you also support entrepreneurs like myself get our information out is incredibly valuable. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. This is why I do it,
I could,
because I love just that energy and us to really expand our community and to learn more about one another. So
yes.
thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much.
So I, of course, encourage all of you who are watching to save this episode, come back, watch it again and again. And of course, shoot Vincent a note and learn more. And because maybe you might not be the target audience, but you probably know a CEO or someone who could really leverage their consulting brand. And I would love to hear more when you guys get together, because that's
Yes.
what it's all about. So, of course, um, don't forget to like and subscribe because you got to get conversations every time a new one drops and learn more about our community. Again, thanks everyone for joining. A special, special thank you to Vincent Brown with the Randolph Brown Consulting. Special, huge thanks, gratitude, and we appreciate you for sharing your story and where you're going from here.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right.